Smile. We're waiting for all of the sending the data. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on LinkedIn. Let's wait for YouTube. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. And I'm going to start the music as soon as we see YouTube. And here we go. So let's do this. Here we go. All right. Let's dance a little bit, Jennifer.
So you wanna be a
You
cool
want to be a cool kid? A saucy dame.
hanging with the
Hanging with the inset.
looking real
Could be the insole too.
cool and
Cool and fine.
asking you fake.
We don't have a fakey net. We have a real net.
So you wanna
Here we go with the drum roll. Wait for it. Bop, 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 bop. Okay, I want to thank Serge Hoffman, my friend in Paris, who is a composer and a musician. And those are my lyrics. And he wrote the music and he sings it for me. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here with an author I've met, I think, over a year ago. And I said to her, Jennifer, she goes by J.M. Shaw, but today she's just Jennifer S. Shaw, S-H-A-W. And I said, I think you are a really saucy dame. And she said, what? I said, yes, you're a saucy dame. Come and talk to us. And here she is. So, Jennifer, you're ready for me to talk about what we're going to do today? All set?
Absolutely.
And by the way, tell everybody where you are right now and what the weather is. Let's do a weather check before I start.
Yes, I'm in southern Alberta. I live in and around Calgary, Alberta, and we are having some icy, snowy conditions.
Oh, well, we're having just a little bit of fog here in East Tennessee. I'll pass the fog up to you, and if you have some snow, I'm ready for snow here. Well, Thanksgiving. Let's wait till after U.S. Thanksgiving so people can travel, and then you send me your snow. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do my intro. You may know us well, Bonnie D and Jennifer S. Two. Two T-O-O in caps, but two T-W-O. Saucy dames, we're living our passions true. We're here today in social's viral embrace, virtual embrace, sharing unique insights in this very special space. Welcome to We Dish, where Jennifer and I have come to play, lighting up life in our uniquely fresh way. I'm welcoming Jennifer to my live streaming latitude. After my rhyming intro, she might add more with attitude. So here we go. Jennifer, this is your life. From northern BC's forests to Alberta's wide sky, Jennifer grew up where wild dreams fly. A child who sought stories in quiet and sound, in myth and in magic, her refuge was found. Her mother's old novels, read mile after mile, lit worlds in Jennifer's mind with a Gothic tinged style. A teacher in seventh grade opened the door, saying to her, write what you feel, then write even more. With Stephen King chills and Atwood's keen grace, Kuntz in the shadows, Jennifer found her own place. Dark fantasy call with its courage and scars, where grief meets identity under strange stars. Jennifer wrote for an outlet, then hobby, then flame, till writing became her true calling, her own claim. And later in life, she discovered her stride. Autism and ADHD were strengths on her side. Neurodivergence a compass she keeps, deep empathy waking where quiet runs deep. Her sons share her wiring, her wonder, her spark, all brilliant minds glowing bright in the dark. Retail and healthcare shaped wisdom Jennifer earned. X-ray rooms taught her the patience she had learned. With martial arts discipline braided with grace, she strengthened her heart as she strengthened her space. Chess clubs attempted, airsoft teams joined, a D&D campaign where her fate was coined. Mountains restored her, long walks cleared her mind, where tangled plot threads untangled in kind. Jennifer's husband steadfast walks life by her side, and two wondrous children fill them both with pride. Together they learn through diagnosis and care that difference is beauty, a gift they all share. Now Jennifer writes worlds where the veil between planes is ripped wide open by magic that reigns. Her Callum Walker hero starts as a lost, guarded youth, but he grows in power into his courage and his truth. With Aegis, the elven soldier of heart, and Jax, the demigod seeking a new start. With Titan, wolf guardian faithful and bold, Jennifer's stories craft legends both tender and old. The Ascension, The Convergence, and Fractured Veil too, and Forsaken Souls, her newest breakthrough. For readers who've wandered, felt outside or alone, Jennifer's pages whisper softly, "You're finally home." In Alberta, she writes where her creativity stirs dark fantasy realms that feel wholly hers. Jennifer blends myth with mischief and darkness with spark, a passionate word slinger who writes from the dark. Joining Saucy Dames now with her own story true, Jennifer M. Shaw, Saucy Dames, welcomes you. Okay, what'd you think?
That is beautiful.
I'm glad. Did I miss anything? Is there anything in there
I
in your
think you
life?
covered a lot of, I think you covered everything.
I'm very, very glad. I'm very, very glad. You have been on my creativity show. I think you might have been on my technology show as well. And I got to know you just a little bit. So I asked you, and Jennifer, I don't ask people for a bio anymore. I ask them for an origin story. And you sent me yours, and I appreciate it. And that's what I use for these introductory, I don't call them poems because I'm a poet. I never use AI for poet, but Sylvie is my collaborator. Sylvie and I write the rhyming bios, and I'm
Aw.
glad you enjoyed it. So, anything you want, just tell me something. Is very, very important. Before we get started on our normal agenda here, how did you pick the name Callum Walker? I happen to like it a lot. Where did it come from?
Well, Callum was actually on my list of baby names, but my husband didn't like it because I have two sons and we went with Morgan and Avery. But I really
Ooh.
like the name Callum. And it's a reflective of because I have a very Scottish Irish background. And it was just an important name. So I thought, I'm going to create a character. And then his last name, Walker, he's going on a journey. So he's walking,
So you birthed a Callum.
I
Anyway,
guess.
I love it. Thank you for answering that. I appreciate that. It's just it does have that Gaelic, Celtic or Celtic charm to it, but it's a very strong name. And Walker is just a very common name. But you're right. If you take it literally, he's walking through his challenges and through the fantasies you create for him. Before we also get started, 4 books are out. What's planned for next?
I'm working on my fifth.
Yeah.
And I'm also working on a side project, which is dystopian Robin Hood meets Romeo and Juliet with hints of Hunger Games.
Okay, I think I need a Pepsid for that. That's very, very interesting. Not my genres, but I like the characters. I might have to read that one. Very, very interesting. And how long do you write every day?
I try, yeah. Just some days I can't, obviously, if there's a lot going on and stuff, but I do try to get in like even an hour of writing. It's kind of part of my self-care, it's my therapy. So, some people they will have their morning tea or coffee. Some people will take a nice hot soaking bath. I write.
Interesting. Very, very, and that's part of what we're going to talk about in the off the top segment, and we'll get to that. Very interesting. I've had some guests on my creativity show who say that writing is their therapy, or
Yeah.
art is their therapy, or music is their therapy. I don't remember anybody saying it's their self-care. I like the way you put that. Yeah, and I think if more of us figured out whether we do or don't practice self-care, we would probably be uh, I don't know, centered or grounded or something if we figured out what we need to do for self-care or what we're already doing for self-care. And
Yes.
I'll tell you some of my little tricks that I do later on. So now we want to know about your music and my music. I have a whole bunch of songs. I don't want to run, but I got 20, 30, 40 songs, but I'll pick 5 or 10 to talk to you about. What are your favorite songs, your music, Jennifer? What do you like? Just enjoy? Are there any songs or performers, any eras and genres that are part of your life, your journey? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've never claimed to be a big country music fan. But there are a couple country songs that, just sort of really touch the heart. And maybe I'm dating myself, but Johnny Cash's A Boy Named Sue, it's one of those that's really, it has a good meaning to it. You're born with adversity and you use that to overcome this adversity. You grow stronger because of it. Um, and another song that's a very country song is Garth Brooks' Standing Outside the Fire. To me, I don't know, it is something about the tune and the words and just being strong in yourself. And that one, it always gives me goosebumps.
Wow. Well, that's what we're looking for. Songs that mean something to you or that make you glad or happy or even sad in a special way because music does that. Music is very universal and it does affect us whoever we are, wherever we are.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about your music.
Anything that's got a really good beat. I have a playlist that when I'm going out walking, I will play these songs and that have like that upbeat beat. Another one that I really enjoy is like a lot of Adele, but Katy Perry's Roar. I love that song. I like those like overcoming odds, finding your strength, those kind of meaningful songs. And
Independence too. Yes, right.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Taylor Swift's Mean is a good one.
Okay, tell me something. I don't walk very much. I never have been a walker. I move in different ways, but I always thought that walking was boring for me. And I've always said to people, what am I supposed to do if I go on a long walk? Do I look up and down? Do I wave hello to people? Do I look at the houses I pass if where I'm in a neighborhood here where there are a lot of homes, also a lot of trees? What do you do? And you say you have a playlist when you walk. So you have what, an ear
I have
pod?
Spotify, so
Yeah.
I put on my big old chunky headphones, so I can't hear anything else because it shuts out the background noise. I have a lot of sensory issues, so that's why I've got these big chunky headphones and stuff. But I will play the music, and if it puts me in a good mood, I will let my mind wander, and I watch videos of, these adventures that I write down, my story adventures. I will let it play out, and I'll watch it as like a movie in my head, and I'll go for a walk, and I'll come back an hour or two later, and my husband will be like, "Where'd you walk?" And I said, "I have no idea but you should see the adventures that I saw."
Isn't that marvelous? And you know something? Talk about sensory. You're wearing the headset, the headphones.
Yes.
That's a message to the people you pass saying, I'm busy doing something. Don't bother me.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
don't interrupt me. I'm probably listening to something and I'm really not paying attention to you. So leave me in my world. That's like shutting out, isn't it? It's almost a bubble. Does that put a bubble
Yeah.
around you?
I do that with my kids too. It's like, okay, mommy's putting her headphones on. What does that mean?
Love it. I hadn't thought of that. The idea that you're creating this space saying, I may be this human being, this person walking down the street or up this hill or in these woods or in this park or wherever you are, and you're saying, I am self-contained.
Yes.
I like that.
I
I
have to
might,
say though, when it gets really cold here, and I have to layer toque. So I put a toque on, and then I put my earphones on, and then I put a big toque over top. I look like I have a giant Smurf head.
what
So,
is a toque? What is a toque? I don't know that
oh,
word. What is
sorry,
it?
it's like a knit cap. It's what we call our like, winter hats.
Okay.
Sorry.
No,
Good old Canadian
no.
term there.
I like learning new words. And you know what? That's a word I could use. I might have used that on I play words with friends every night with 6 or 8 different people from all over the world. I have never met them. I don't know. And there's one woman in the UK named Lynn, last initial B. That's all I know. And we have
Okay.
25 games going on. But I'm always looking for words with Q. Did you
Oh,
know that QI is a word, Jennifer? QI is an acceptable word in Scrabble. Did you know that?
is it? Oh, it
Yes.
must be a slang word.
It is QI, whatever it is, and I think QIM might be one. So if you see an I with a double or triple score next to it, before
Uh-huh.
it, and you have a Q in your Scrabble rack there, what virtual one, you just slap that onto that, and then you get a nice
Nice
scoring
to know.
word. But it's QI, very so
Yeah, because
Q
they usually
took
pair a U after Q.
two Q two U Q U. We always looking for if there's a U and there's a space after that, stick the Q in there, and then there's qua. I'm getting off track here. Anyway, okay. Any more songs? Those are fascinating. Any more?
Yeah, I've listened to when I was a kid. My mom used to play a lot of classical music. I know that I do play piano too, so I love Disney songs. They always have a lot of meaning,
Hmm.
and they're very good. They're very catchy tunes as well. So I play like all sorts of Disney songs, but this time of year, I'm cranking out the Christmas songs too, because those just make me feel good.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them are. Very interesting. This is time for, I don't know if you get it up there, but the Hallmark Christmas, so the TV shows, the short films that they make around that
Oh,
time, the Hallmark shows where, boy meets girl or boy comes back to
yeah, the
hometown
big,
and girl he
big old
dated
chicken
it.
soup soul kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah. I have a show called you didn't do my HB2U show yet, did you yet?
I
You
don't
didn't
think so yet.
you'll come on that one if you'd like. Anyway, we do a list of celeb for the date of the show.
Mhm.
It's called HB2U, Happy Birthday to You, but it's not our birthday, not necessarily. It's celebrity birthdays and music history, which you would enjoy. And I research all the dates, and then it's some wacky holidays or just unusual holidays. And then I pick several social media stars who have at least 1.5 million either followers, fans, friends, subscribers, or views. And I recently had somebody who does parodies of Disney songs, I think. And
Okay.
he's got millions of followers. So there's something there. There's really something there. Okay. Anyway, I don't sing. I don't know if you sing. I'll play the drums. You could sing the songs and we'll start a viral YouTube account. Okay, Jennifer. I think that'll be fun. Any more music? I'm going to give you mine when you're ready. Any
Yeah,
more?
no, there's not, it's those tapping, toe tapping music and stuff like that.
Yeah. And did you
There's
ever
only a
watch
few that really touch the soul, and the rest are just really good.
did you ever
So,
watch American Bandstand? You've heard of Dick Clark, right?
I've heard of Dick Clark. Yeah, I don't think I've listened to him.
He passed away. Well, he was the host of American Bandstand, and I used to rush home from school, and I won't tell you what year to watch. And it was a bunch of local kids from the Philadelphia area, and they were dancing to songs. And he would have a rate the song, and they would rate it on the dance beat. Can you dance
Ah,
to this song? And they would
yeah.
rate the song. And some of the most popular stars of the day appeared on Bandstand. He was called the world's oldest teenager because he never got old. He did pass away a few years ago, but he never. And he was the Rockin' New Year's Eve host on I think ABC
Okay.
TV. That was his. That Ryan. Seacrest took over when Dick Clark passed
Yeah.
away. But when you say it has to have a beat, that was one of the segments of American Bandstand was they were rate the record, they'd play the record, and the kids, two or three of them on the panel would say, no, I can't really dance to that. Oh yeah, I could do a Lindy to that. Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're reminding me, you got to look them up and see. Okay, so let's see now. My songs. You know Donna Summer, the disco queen who passed way too soon. Well, I looked at her discography recently. I was a disco dance performer, a disco contest entrant, and a teacher, an instructor in
Interesting.
line dances and in the hustle years ago when I was living in Oregon, believe it or not. And I looked up her discography. I followed her music over the years, and her songs, Jennifer, the titles tell a lot about the story
Mhm.
of my life. And so I'll just go through these. I think you'll get a kick out of this. One is She Works Hard for the Money.
Yeah.
Yes, I always
That's a
have.
pretty famous song.
There you go. Hot stuff. I tell people I've never been a streetwalker in LA, but I've been called hot stuff in my day. Yes. On the radio, I still call this radio, even though we're on Zoom and we're on live streaming video. I started in radio in the late 1990s on a real radio station as a drive time host on Friday nights, and I had several shows a week and an engineer in the other room and a microphone set on a table and guests called in. So hot stuff. So on the radio, yes, I still consider it radio. Then No More Tears, which was Donna Summer's duet with Barbara Streisand. Enough is enough is enough. I've had my point where I've said no more tears. I think we all have. I think you and I can relate to that. Then one of her songs is Last Dance. I don't teach or exhibit anymore. I dance in the kitchen to Megan Trainor because I like
Nice.
her music. Especially she's got some dance songs here. I Feel Better When I'm Dancing is one of my favorite Megan Trainor songs. I Feel Love, which was a great Donna Summer hit with
Mhm.
Giorgio Moroder playing that I won't say beatbox, but that machine in the background that
Yes. Yeah. I don't know what it's called,
it's
but I
just
know what
like
you're
a
talking about.
synthesizer. But I feel love. You always thought she was on a bike and vibrating. Never mind that last word. And then the last one I love is Heaven Knows, and this was from her version of the MacArthur Park Suite, which I think was 23 minutes long. And Donna Summer's version, and by the way, it's Summer apostrophe S. It's not Donna Summers, it's Donna Summer
Like
apostrophe S. A lot of
ownership.
people, yeah, just singular. Her version of Heaven of the MacArthur Park Suite hit number one, and Richard Harris, the British singer, had done it a few years before, and he only got to number eight, but they were both very popular. Hers was, I guess she just came into that era with the disco beat. But heaven knows just how much I love you. My partner, Michael, and I, he was a professional Arthur Murray trained dancer, and I was doing my thing, and we met up. His aunt introduced us, and we had lunch at a great little bar cafe in Eugene, and we decided to become dance partners.
Oh,
And
okay.
we entered a contest called Disco Hawaii, and we performed Heaven Knows. And it starts, da, 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 and it builds up, and we came in from opposite sides of the floor. I was 97 pounds. He was about 130. He lifted me up over his head, did a spin over the head, and
Yes.
just right out of Saturday Night Fever, jet, and down to the floor, death drop, 6 inches above the floor. I had a black satin skirt that was only tied at the waist, so it fanned out in a 360-degree circle above the floor. Black stockings. I don't think I wore fishnets because those were scratchy, and little high heels, and a blue satin shirt that I made. I made my costume. His mom made his costume, and we came in third. And the reason I attribute to coming in third in Disco Hawaii was that we didn't know that it was a pro-am contest. We thought it was all amateurs. And the woman who won owned her own dance studio.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And you
wow.
guys came in third.
We
That's
found out.
awesome.
Yeah, we came in third, and it was a lot of fun. So those are my songs, and one more, two more. I think you'll get a kick out of. "I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar" by Helen
Yep.
Reddy. We know
Yep.
that. "You Don't Own Me" by Leslie Gore. "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" by Cyndi
Oh, I love that
Lauper.
one. Yeah.
"I've Had the Time of My Life" by Bill
Yeah.
Medley from Dirty Dancing, and the one I think you will love the most, "Freedom's Just Another Word for Nothing Left to Lose." Me and Bobby McGee, Janis Joplin, 1971.
That is a good one. Yeah.
And "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor, and "New Attitude" by Patti LaBelle, and "Respect" by Aretha Franklin, and "Hit Me With Your Best Shot" Pat Benatar. But I can go on and on. So those are some of my songs, and they're all, a lot of them are, I don't know, I being proud of who you are and
Yeah.
surviving and
Mhm.
making your own path. What do you think? You like
I
some of
love
those too?
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think I've
So
listened to all of them.
have you?
Some of them are
Okay.
before my time, but not all of them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, some of them have survived a long, long time. "Respect" by Aretha Franklin is still a classic, and "Me and Bobby McGee" is still a classic. So,
yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the people singing those songs are gone, but a few of them are still. Cyndi Lauper is still out there. She's still got purple hair and green hair, and she's doing advertisements for some product on TV. And she just celebrated 70 something, and she looks wonderful. Girls just want to have fun. Do you feel that way, that you just want to have fun sometimes? Jennifer, you froze. Oh, Jennifer, you still there? Jennifer, can you hear me? Uh-oh. I think we're going to have to stop this and come back. Jennifer? Hello? Hello, we're still streaming. Okay, let me see if she's emailing. Oh, she dropped. Let's see if she comes back. Coming back?
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Good. I didn't stop. I just said, "Where are you? Where are you?" I was going to go look and see if you emailed me. Good. Are you okay now?
I am. Yeah. Because on my end, it looked like you just froze. And
Okay,
then
and
it
you
kicked me
froze.
out.
I froze. No,
Oh,
you
I'm
froze.
sorry.
No, I froze.
Hopefully I
No,
didn't
you
freeze on
froze.
a very bad expression.
I know, isn't that terrible? Okay, so we're done with the song. So let's go on to our next part of the show. And this is called Off the Top. And I have a whole bunch of topics, and I'm going to pick three or four. You've seen them in advance, and we'll both answer them. So I'm intrigued with this one. The first one I want to ask you, and then I will share mine as well, is your creativity superpower. What is it? Do you love it? Or do you not love it? What do you love about it, and what do you love not so much? Jennifer, talk to me.
I love that my brain never stops and I'm constantly running through what if scenarios. And when I'm visualizing stuff that I want to write, I see it, like I said, as a movie playing out in my head. I don't always have control, and I love that. But at the same time, so sometimes my ideas come out and I'm just like, wow, that came out of my head. And other times I'm questioning my sanity. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Very, very interesting. Your brain is always on, always working. I've had a lot of guests on these shows. Nobody has ever said that before. That's intriguing. I think I can identify with that one. Sometimes I'll wake up. Well, I always try to wake up, but sometimes I wake up and I say, "Hey, I'm bored. I don't have enough to do. I think I'll start a new show." And that's how Saucy Dames was born about a year ago. I said, "Well, I know these really interesting ladies from all kinds of shows that I've done with them in all walks of life. I've met them. Let's just call ourselves I'm a saucy dame. You want to be a saucy dame with me too? It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Very, very interesting. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, my creativity superpower, and this will not be a surprise to you, is I have a way of getting people, smart, interesting people like you, to talk to me
Nice.
and
You
to
learn a
share
lot.
and to share your life story with me. That's my superpower. Is that I've had, listen, I do a spin-off on this called Two Saucy Dame Plus Cool Dude. And I
Yes.
just put together the Bonnie D's Cool Dude Hall of Fame with the first 48 guests. Those 48, two did two shows. So my hit my quota, my goal of 50 Cool Dude shows in the first 12 months of that series. What do you think of that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they share their life stories with me, just like you did. You'd be surprised. They send these bullets. It's like 5 pages of bullets and I say, just put it all there. Just
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
out. They say, what? What? 14, 12 stanzas? That's wow. How'd you do that? I said, well, you told me all of that. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting. So just getting people to talk to me. I think that's and the downside is, um, I don't think there is a downside. I don't think
I
there,
don't think so. Yeah.
no, I
I
think
mean, you
just
might learn things that you don't necessarily want to know.
that's true.
Could be a downside.
That's true. Yeah, we won't talk about that much. Okay, this is something you alluded to before, but I'm going to pin you down on this. The start of the day. What do you eat or drink, specifically or not, to start your day to power you? That's what I'm interested in, Jennifer. What powers you? Because I have something I'm going to tell you about that I think you'll enjoy. Some people want my recipe, but I'll give it to you. Go ahead. What powers your day? Is it coffee or tea or a milkshake or a piece of
Oh,
toast or an
it's
English muffin? What is it? What is it?
definitely a coffee. Every morning, I have to have my coffee.
What
I love
kind?
the smell of it. I love the taste of it, whether I'm having caffeinated or decaf, it doesn't matter. But I have to have my coffee before I start my day.
What's the
And
flavor of the coffee? Is it pot?
oh,
Is it brewed? What is it? I want all the
yeah, it's
details.
hot coffee. I'm not a big fan of sweet. I'll put a little bit of almond milk in it because milk just upsets my stomach. But yeah, a little bit of almond milk and some straight up normal, I'm very boring, normal coffee. Every now and then I'll go and get myself a macchiato with almond milk and caramel. I love caramel. And my secret pleasure is chocolate.
I knew I liked you. What kind of chocolate?
Oh, any kind. I mean, coffee crisp is one of my favorites, but I'm not averse to the crunchy bars or the Wonder bars or anything with almonds in it.
I'll
Yeah.
give you the ones with the almonds. I'll take the dark chocolate. You want the milk chocolate with the almonds? I'll give those to you. You want that?
I don't need them,
No, of
but
course. Well, who does? But seriously, you ever have chocolate with your coffee?
oh no.
Why
No.
not?
I mean, I'll
Why
have
not?
coffee in one hand and a chocolate bar in the other and
Yeah,
eat them separate, but
that's
yeah,
what I. That's what
not
I mean. Do you?
coffee and chocolate in the same cup.
No, no,
No.
no. Of course not. Of course not. But I'm a hot chocolate fan. But my point is, you'll be drinking the coffee and eating the chocolate. They go very well together.
Yes.
Very, very well together. I took myself on a trip to Cancun many, many years ago as
Mhm.
a Christmas time vacation. I couldn't find any friends to go with me. I was living in Oregon, and it turned out to be an interesting trip. I booked it so late that all the charter planes were booked, and I had to book all of the transport myself. So I flew from Eugene to San Francisco, got there in
Mhm.
the middle of a monsoon in San Francisco, and I found out that all the planes were delayed going, that I had to go to Texas, and then I had to go to Cancun.
You got a roundabout tour.
Oh, you have no idea. And then I discovered that I could get a big bus from the airport into downtown San Francisco. And I discovered that Peggy Fleming was in Ice Capades on ice on a stage in a big theater in downtown San Francisco. I found my way to that theater, and there were about 150 people waiting online to get in. And I don't know how I did this, Jennifer. I had no idea. I asked if anybody had an extra ticket to sell. And there was a family of 8 who said one of them had canceled because they were sick and I want his ticket. I
Ah,
bought his ticket from and I sat in the eighth row orchestra in the
nice.
middle
Oh
of a
man, I hope they
family of
were
8.
regretting being sick.
Unbelievable. And I was making all my own clothes, and I had a green, it was like a velvet, but it was a velvet type of material in emerald green. And it was a suit. I had a jacket and a skirt with little pleats in it. And I
Oh,
was all dressed up, and I went to the Ice Capades, and I got a bus back to the airport. This was very, very late, and the planes were still, it was the middle of the night. I slept across the arms of three chairs in the airport. Everybody was trying to sleep. I think they came and got us out of there at 4 or 5 in the morning, San Francisco time, flew us to Texas. I don't know whether it was Dallas or Houston, I don't know what airport it was. We got there and it was still storming. And then they got us on a plane to Cancun, where the storm was so bad that the palm trees were laying on their sides.
Whew.
And I said to myself, I really wanted to go to Club Med. I didn't tell you that. It was a Club Med vacation. And I got there and I got into a taxi. All of the transport buses, all of the charter buses, everything was gone hours ago because, all of the charter people were there settled in. And I got into a cab. The cabbie spoke no English. And I'm not Christian, but I crossed myself and I said, please, dear Lord, let me get there in one piece. I know it's not what I'm doing and where I am and who this person is. And I hope the cabbie just brings me. And he did. He brought me there to Club
Oh.
Med. And instead of having to share a room with a stranger, they gave me my own room, which was basically
Oh,
a bed on a slab. It may have had straw underneath it. I don't know. And, and I was adopted by a
that is
family from New Jersey who was there. They met me at breakfast the next day and they took me in. And they had two adult children in their 20s, and I was in my 20s. And we all bonded, and I hung out with them for the week. And it
aw.
was wonderful. Coming back was in a snowstorm from San Francisco to
Of course,
Eugene.
right?
I'm watching the snow outside, and we flew over Boise, Idaho, and I said, "Oh my God, did I really want this trip?" I have no idea why I'm telling you this, but anyway, it was quite an interesting trip. Yes. What part of the show were we in? Yes. Yeah, we were in the What Powers You. Okay, something you said set me off, so I hope you enjoyed that. You want to know what starts my day? Oh, the reason I told you, they had the best coffee in Cancun. It was
Oh,
in
yes.
pitchers. Jennifer, I was drinking 8 to 12 cups a day of
Oh,
dark
wow.
Mexican full caffeine coffee. It
Nice.
was
I bet you were bouncing off the walls.
and I was dancing in the disco with the son of this people. He was in his 20s and he was engaged to a nurse and he wasn't sure he wanted to go through. And I was trying to convince him to stay with the nurse. And we talked and talked and we danced until they closed the disco 4 o'clock every morning. What do you think of that? Yep. But the
That sounds fun. I,
coffee
I,
was
I feel exhausted though, thinking about that. I'm not a young fry anymore.
I was at the time, and the coffee was amazing. That's why I want to tell you the story. So, listen, my favorite drink is every morning I have a individual serving blender with a pulse on it. It's a Hamilton Beach. I'm not afraid to say the brand. And it's a plastic cup and it has measurements on the side and it takes up to about 12 ounces. I put 6 to 8 ounces of 1% milk. I add a fresh banana, not too mushy, not green because they taste chalky, not
Yes,
hard, but not mushy gushy. And I buy 9 bananas a week and I pick them very carefully. They have to last a whole week. I go to the store once a week. And I put in a little bit of dry cocoa powder and I put in some raw agave syrup, which is equivalent of sugar,
okay.
but it's smooth. It looks like molasses, but it's not thick. And then if I'm really in a good mood, I'll put in a little bit of vanilla ice cream and then
Ah,
some frozen sliced strawberries, unsweetened, and then I blend it. And while I'm blending and pushing the pulse, I do a kind of a prayer, a meditation of blessings to
mm,
my children and their families, to all the people I know who have either themselves or a spouse or a dear one need help, whether they're sick or
mm,
whether they're struggling with something. I name them in my head. And then I say, thank you for the blessing of me.
yeah.
And I do that when I'm blending the milkshake, and that makes it even. I started
Aw,
that about a month ago. What do you think of that?
that sounds really good.
It's
I've heard
fun.
of people doing a gratitude type journal or gratitude type, like listing those things that you're grateful for to kind of get
Yeah.
into the proper mindset of the day.
Yep. That's kind of this. And it just started. I'm standing there with the pulse and I'm pulsing it and I'm saying to myself, why don't I just do something with this time? So I
Mm,
just focus and I just kind of space out and I pulse and pulse and pulse and I do all of it on impulse. We'll leave it alone. So that's how I start my day every day, and it's delicious. So let's go on now. Let's see now. Okay. I'm interested in this vacation favorites. Where have you been, if you have been around the world, anywhere you've been that you're great memories, great experience, something memorable, and where would you like to go next? And I'll tell you mine, which is a very short list. Go ahead.
I haven't been on too many vacations because both my boys are special needs, so it's very difficult to get out and about. I think my husband even owes me a honeymoon, so I haven't been around. But me and my husband did drop the kids off with grandma last summer, or the summer before last. Like not this one, but last year's summer. And we took a trip to San Francisco. And we were in Napa Valley. I loved the weather. Then we went to Muir Woods. We went to downtown San Francisco. We went to Alcatraz. Of course, you have to go to Alcatraz. We went
Yeah.
to Santa Cruz. And I have to say that of all the places, I liked Santa Cruz.
What did you like about it so much?
I've never been to the ocean. And so I told my kid, I took
What?
a
Say
video.
that again. Say that
I've
again.
never been to the ocean. And
Okay.
so I told my kids we were going to go to the ocean. And I said I would take a picture of me walking in the ocean. So I literally have a picture of me, my feet, and I'm walking in the ocean.
Wow. And what else did you do? What else did you like about that area?
I like the sun. I mean, we get a lot of sun here in the summer. I love that, just listening to the sound of the waves coming in and out because, I mean, we get wind, but it doesn't quite sound the same.
Yep, not quite the same. Very, very interesting. Wow. So where would you like to go if you and well, your boys are going to grow up. So
Actually,
next trip, you and your husband, or even you alone, where would you like to go next?
I'd love to go to Scotland and see where
Ooh.
my family came from.
Oh, interesting. Have you thought of doing it virtually, of doing it with a VR headset and touring? What do you think?
I'm not that technically minded, but I have looked at pictures.
Okay, okay.
And it
Very,
looks like a beautiful countryside, and I would love to not just go and see the cities, but go out and see the geography and some of the old castles and some of the ancient histories. And I'm a sucker for all that.
very, very cool. Very cool. Well, I've been to Europe as a teenager in my late teen years. My parents treated me to 8 weeks in Europe, and it was a tour. And in the middle of the tour, I was studying at the University of Neuchâtel in Switzerland, and that was 4 weeks of living with a Swiss French family and
Nice.
learning their way of life. And it was really lovely. And I won't go into too many details, but I did go to we took a ferry trip to Sweden at one point. I went to Denmark, Tivoli Gardens in Denmark. We went to Paris. We went to London. We went to Venice. We were in Spain, Madrid, and that was the world tour. And I've been there and done that, and I don't really need to go back anymore. But I guess my favorite part of travel is just when I used to travel to see family and friends in different parts of the country. Right now, my travel is restricted to virtual because I get to hear and meet people like you, and you tell me a little bit about where you live in Canada, and that's it. I don't have any aspirations to travel anymore. Isn't that?
Yeah, I mean, if they develop a transporter system like they have on Star Trek, then maybe I'd travel a lot more. But yeah, I'm terrified of planes.
I don't do well on planes either, but not anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. So we'll just keep we'll just talk about places we've been, and that's all good. Okay, let me see now. Let's see. So we covered travel, we covered that, and let's see now. I have a funny feeling that something. What? Hold on. Can you hear that?
Hmm, okay.
Hold
I
on.
like your ringtone.
Thank you. Hold on. Okay. Wait. Hello. Hi. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm on the air live with Jennifer J.M. Shaw. Yeah, I know. I know you've heard of her. I know Callum Walker is on your radar. Jennifer, this is James Cameron and Ron Howard and Francis Ford Coppola and Sophia's with him and Christopher Nolan is here and Spielberg. Stephen, come on. I told you to stop bothering me when I'm on the air. Seriously? Okay. They really want to talk to you. No, you can't talk to Jennifer. Technology is not that great. I can't just pass her phone onto the phone. For goodness sake. Wait a minute. Who's there? Chuck Lorre? Aaron Sorkin? Aaron, you must be really busy. There must be a new series or 20. Shonda Rhimes, Shonda, you're still one of my favorites because you write such fast dialogue. Unbelievable. Seth MacFarlane, you're a funny guy and you're pretty clever too. Okay, so what do you want? Okay, you want to make a movie or all right, you're going to bid for the rights to, all right, you don't want to make a biopic about Jennifer. You want to make a movie or a TV show with the lead character based on her life. Okay, it's not about her, but the character is informed by her life story. Okay, good. So you want her to pick the director, and it could be somebody who's not there. You won't be insulted. Jennifer, they won't be insulted if you pick a different director. And you want her to pick, is it going to be action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, time travel, gothic, whatever? Okay, I have a feeling, and you want her to pick the actor or actress to play the lead that is based on her. Okay. And the title, of course. That's a lot. Listen, Jennifer and I don't have that much time. You want her to do all of that? She's smiling. I think she's ready for this. Okay. I tell you what, how long are you going to be there? You're having brunch. No, you're in LA? It's only 8:30 in the morning. Come on. It can't be brunch yet unless you're up all night making a movie or something like that. I don't want to get personal here. Tell you what, by the time you're ready for lunch, Jennifer and I will have come up with what she wants, and I will call you back after my show with her is over. Fair enough? Okay, good. And Shonda, just remember you're still one of my favorites. Okay, tell the guys it's okay. Okay, bye. Okay. So Jennifer, we have our request here. They seem to want to interrupt my show all the time. And they heard about you and Callum Walker, and they heard about you and your very interesting background, who you are, your family, your travels, and everything you've done through life. And they want to base a character on you, but it's not the Jennifer story. So tell us, what would you like to do? Who would you want? Whom do you want for the director? What's the genre? What's the title? And who will be the lead? Talk to me.
Oh, I'd have to say for the director, M. Night Shyamalan, because he's very
Oh
out
my God. Wow.
there.
That's way too scary for me. But go ahead. This is a
I
story based
I
on you.
yes, and I mean like he does not just scary stuff, but he does like what ifs and out there. So I
Ooh.
think that he would match my lifestyle and my thinking because my brain is scary. I think that the genre would probably be, oh, I don't know, a little suspense, a little bit of adventure, a little bit of maybe dark fantasy, epic fantasy, because I would love to have that in my life, but I write about it so that I don't. So I just would be curious to see what kind of adventures they would design for me.
Very interesting. What would the title? Would it be, I guess, a movie if it's Shyamalan? It would be a movie.
Yes.
And what
I
would it
think
be
I would
called?
call it what if, just because
Ooh.
that's how I start every concept, every story. I always start, what if?
Okay, even if there are other what if movies that have been made in the past, this will be the special one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and you know what? We could probably get you signed on. Write the screenplay if you want with him. You want to write the screenplay, maybe?
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
good money in that, I understand, and a lot of credits on the screen for that. Okay, and do you want to be the technical advisor or the advisor for the character development on the set? You want
Uh, no, I'd like to be not the technical side of it,
to?
just
Okay,
the creative side of it.
the creative side. Okay, we get
I
you as
love
creative.
writing dialogue.
Creative director. Okay, we could do that. Screenplay and creative director. That would be fine. Okay, so what if, and we have the director, and who would be, now you could have multiple stars in that. Who would you pick? Whom would you pick?
I think to play me, I'd probably pick Jennifer Aniston. For one,
Ooh.
Jennifer,
So the
staying.
character based on your life. Okay, it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. What would the character's name be?
Oh, I don't think I get creative. I think I'd just say Jennifer.
Yeah, okay, but remember, it's not your biopic. It's a Shyamalan movie. So, okay. All right, we
There's
could
not a
have,
lot of stars out there who are named Jennifer, and there's nothing wrong with
you
that
know
name.
what,
So I
you're
love it.
absolutely right. So it would be Jennifer playing Jennifer. Jennifer
Yes.
Aniston, you said?
Mhm.
Have you been watching The Morning Show on Apple Plus TV?
No, I haven't. I don't actually watch a lot of television.
Well, I need you to go find something on YouTube, clips from The Morning Show. She is an
Okay.
executive in a fictitious TV news station called UPN, and her co-stars are major stars, including Reese Witherspoon and Billy Crudup, and all kinds of other people. And John Hamm he's a love interest in season 4, and it is very nerve-wracking, and the opening music will drive you absolutely bonkers. It does me. I have to skip the opening music, but it's her latest foray, and it's TV, and it's I think it's an hour a week, and we're up to, I
Okay.
think, season 3 or 4. And this Friday, tomorrow night, will be episode 10, which will round out the season. And it is rife with drama of a
Ooh.
TV station that is dealing with global reporting and all
Yeah.
kinds of things happening around the world. And she has quite an interesting backstory. And she wears the most gorgeous clothes. And she's probably a size
She's
zero
beautiful.
right now, size zero at least. And she just wears clothes like unbelievable. But she's been a character who's been all the way through from the beginning. And she's a mainstay, even though Reese Witherspoon's character has been, right now, they've got her taken in an airport by the Belarus police, charged with being an
Don't give
enemy
it
of the
all
state.
away.
What's that?
Don't give it all away. I want to
No,
watch it.
well, okay, but you got to watch the first three seasons to get here. But Jennifer
Yes.
Aniston's character has a confrontation with her dad, who was a famous university professor, in the last episode of episode 9 of season whatever this is for. That is so well written that that's almost what I want you to find. But I'll send you some links. Okay. So
Awesome.
interesting. So What If, starring Jennifer, but not as Jennifer. Okay, very, very interesting. Mine would be a musical, semi-comedy sitcom about would star Reba McEntire probably, or Bonnie Raitt, and it would be musical, and they would be singing, and they'd probably both be playing the guitar, and they'd be redheads, and it would be about something that I used to do, which is teaching eBay selling and buying skills in an adult education class years
Uh,
ago in a
nice.
six PC computer lab. And this would be about people who come to learn to sell on the secondhand market, eBay, and all the thrift sites, Poshmark and everything if it's closed. And the teacher would be going into the backstories of the people in the class and the
Okay.
provenance of the things they wanted to buy and sell. What do you think?
That sounds cool. I'd love to watch that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, maybe you'll come on and put a little drama into it. Maybe I could get you on as partly the screenwriter. It's going to be 8 episodes a season and a couple of seasons, and Reba McEntire will write the music for the show. And so I've already picked the star, and the name of it would be uh, "I'll Buy That."
I like that.
Or You Can't Buy Love. One of those
Yeah,
two.
one or the other.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Very, very interesting. I like your concept. Nobody has ever picked a movie of that genre or that person, that director. So I like it a lot. Okay. Now we're ready for now. In order to do the last segment of the show, Jennifer, it's very important that you be able to say it appropriately. I'm
Oh,
going to say it and I need you to repeat it in your own way. Very important. So this part of the show is called Say What? Go ahead.
hey, what?
That's perfect. Okay, we can do it now. Okay,
I
that's good.
practiced.
So you did. Okay.
I did
So,
actually.
well, thank you. Nobody ever told me that before. I'm going to put, you've picked three stories, very, very interesting, and I've got them teed up here so I can share them visually while you tell us the three say what stories, and then I've got three of mine. So let me stop the sound sharing here and let's go into share. I'm going to do this because you said you're not that technical, but
Yes.
I think you're more technical than you are. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm selecting what's on my screen, and you should be able to see it now. So why don't
Mhm.
you do the first one, the 10 surprising hobbies of historical figures? I'm going to do, you tell me when to scroll down, and you just do your thing. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah. Do you want me to read them or
Yeah,
just talk?
I want you to talk about them and just pick out the ones you like the best, and I'll just scroll to that person.
Okay. I noticed that a lot of these famous people had a lot of creative outlets. I thought that was really interesting. Even gardening can be creative. And then or exercising like I do. So it just kind of was interesting to see that their passions kind of align with mine a lot. If you go down, I think there was one at the very end, which I thought was really interesting. Um, yeah, the playing chess is kind of the log, the cryptography.
Yes.
That one I thought was really interesting, but I thought, that fits his style. Like it fits his brand, like him to a T. So Edgar Allan Poe, I always thought, yeah, cryptography, I could see that being a hobby of his.
And I was surprised on the one before for Salvador Dali that he was fascinated by insects and they inspired some of his paintings.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that something? And why don't you just read the titles of the other ones just so that people get the idea of what these are? Just go ahead and read
Yeah,
the
so
highlights.
these are interests and hobbies that these famous people had. So Winston Churchill, he was an avid painter, and I mean, I can see that. I can see them being a painter. You would need that outlet after all, because he lived a very stressful period of time, and you would need to have some sort of
Yeah.
creative outlet. That's why I started writing, because I needed that to decompress and deal with the stress of life. Thomas
Yeah.
Jefferson was interested in gardening. Albert Einstein, I didn't know he played the violin, which I thought was amazing. But then it made me think, like the math side of the brain and the music, they're a lot, they use a similar part of the brain. So I thought, oh, well, that makes sense. Theodore Roosevelt, I love that he loved hiking. And Charles Darwin, of course, was a bird watcher. We
Yes.
know that that's probably where he got a lot of his ideas and his theories
I want
was,
to take you back to Theodore Roosevelt. Do you know that he was the inspiration for the teddy bear? Did you know that?
yes, yes, the name Theodore, yeah.
Yes, because
I
he,
always
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I had another son, if we didn't use the name Callum, Theodore was another name on my baby list.
Interesting. Well, Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt was on a hunting trip, and everybody was shooting bears, and he just couldn't find his mark. He just couldn't hit a bear. And so the people he was with, who were some of the executives in the government, captured a bear and tethered it to a tree and said, "Okay, Teddy, take your shot." And he said, "I can't do that to that
Mhm.
bear because he's already a captive." So a
Yeah.
reporter found out about this and started promoting, look at Teddy, he took care of the bear. And
Aw,
then a
Teddy.
German doll maker decided, with the president's permission, to call it Teddy or Teddy's bear. And then
Yeah.
another doll maker, and this is why we have teddy bears today. Is that a cool
I don't
story?
know. Yeah, that is. I don't know why that reminds me of the teddy bear's picnic. If you go out in the woods today, I'm probably dating myself.
That's okay, don't worry. Interesting. So you were up to Charles Darwin and the bird watching, of
Yeah, the
course.
bird watching, I mean, of course, right?
Yep.
Napoleon Bonaparte, he was a big chess player, which I guess you'd need,
Yeah.
that you need logic and strategy, and that made sense.
Yeah.
I can see Mark Twain being a fisher because a lot of his characters did fish. They were based in around, I think there was the Mississippi River that was a big thing in his series and his books and stuff. And I mean, who wouldn't want to fish in the Mississippi River, I suppose? I've never
There you
been
go.
there. Makes sense. If you're near a river, you think about fishing.
Of course.
Um, yeah, Nikola Tesla, pigeon keeping. Now that one kind of threw me. I hadn't thought about that, but I thought, maybe he would have been into chess, sorry. Um,
Close.
yeah, that was just one letter off, right?
He said that his pigeon was his greatest companion. He was a solitary person.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's
Maybe he couldn't afford dog food.
okay. We'll leave that one alone. We already talked about Dolly with the insects and Poe. So
Yeah.
you've got the next article. Well, I don't know.
Oh,
This isn't
yes.
going to be X-rated, is it, Jennifer? No?
No,
Okay.
no. I
Okay.
love Shakespearean like insults, descriptions. I read a lot of Shakespeare when I was younger, and
Ah,
and sometimes I get inspiration when so in my fantasy series, I have obviously fantasy creatures, and I need them to have, sayings or insults. And I need them to be creative and not something we've heard. So I do kind of draw a little bit of inspiration from Shakespeare's insults because they're very colorful. Um,
shall we go down?
so
Shall I
I was
scroll
looking through
down?
these and and some of them you're just like, nowadays you're not sure whether to be complimented or insulted, just the way they're said. Like, I like the one, like, I will speak daggers to her, but use none. And I thought, oh, that's interesting,
Yep. Yep. You could certainly use that. He was talking to his about his mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. And what's the next? Why don't you read the ones that I've got highlighted because you had picked
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
story. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I love that. I thought that was funny. I laughed and giggled at all of these. I was like, you
Good.
starveling, you elf skin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull's pizzle, you stockfish. I was like, I can see dwarves and elves from my books, mythical dwarves and fairy tale elves and even fairies using some of these. This would be so funny. You'd be like, thank you or not.
Or not.
Away, you 3-inch fool. I remember that one from The Taming of the Shrew when I read that. I thought that was funny. I giggled then too.
Yep, that's getting into a little personal there below.
Yeah, that
It's called
was. Yeah.
hitting
Well,
below
when
the
I read
belt.
it, I didn't think about it. I just thought he's calling him short. No, that's not what he's doing.
Not exactly. It's called hitting below the
I
belt.
was
Yes.
12 at the time when I read Taming of the Shrew, so it was a
Yes,
little bit
it was
innocent.
the innocent. It was the young version. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Methinks thou art a general offense, and every man should beat thee. That's one where I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you respond to that? If somebody said that to you, how would you respond to that? It's like, you can't say anything like, you too, or
No,
shut
you
up,
can't.
or it just nothing would work. You can't respond to that. It's like, what do I say?
I think that's the point of the beauty of all these. Do you think
Hmm.
so? Is that there's very little that the opponent or the recipient of the remark would be able to say, shall we say gracefully, or just leave it at
Like,
that? Yeah.
just turn and walk away because I'm like, I have no idea if I was insulted, if I won, or what. I love this villain. I have done thy mother because that sounds really very like yo mama, kind of thing.
That's the first Yo Mama joke, they say.
Yeah, I
Wow.
guess, right? No,
Yeah, I
away
know.
you scullion, you rampallion, you am I butchering these words? You
No,
filstellarian. I'll tickle your catastrophe. I was like, yeah, those were try saying those 10 times fast. I think I called my child one time. I said, "You are being such a scullion." Or a
okay, mommy, tell me what
frustillary.
that
I
means.
love
Yeah,
that. I could use that one every day. I do desire we meet better strangers. You could turn these into like it's just it makes you wonder like all the different sayings that we have, how you could turn those into Shakespearean stuff too.
absolutely. These are so interesting, and they trip off the tongue in a Shakespearean kind of way. They're colorful words to me. They're not
Yes.
just "I hate you" or
Yeah,
"never come back"
absolutely.
or
Yes.
"you're a meanie" or "stop being a bully." That's just so flat. But these are, if you say to somebody, "You scullion, you rampallion, you fustellarian, I'll tickle your catastrophe," and they'll say, "What's going on here?" It would start a different conversation, and you go away. They'll go away and say, "That's one crazy person."
Yeah, because we'd have no idea what they mean.
Exactly.
We'd be like, yeah, it's
Exactly.
better just not talk to them. I
Now,
love
what's
this
the
Banbury cheese. How is food an insult?
don't know.
He
It was
managed to make it an insult. I thought that was cool. Or
very,
thou
very
cream-faced loon.
unbelievable. He certainly had a way, and these are memorable because they were so descriptive, wouldn't you say?
Hmm.
And the
Yeah,
last
or
one,
something that sounds like it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, like a luxurious mountain goat. He's blended a good word with something that's not so good, and I'm just like, wow, that's incredible. Like, you marvelous bear or something, right?
you
Just
marvelous
throw something together
fashionista,
like that.
maybe. You marvelous fashionista, or yes, it would be just poking at somebody who they say self-indulgent or hedonistic, or you
Yeah, or you think
wonderful.
that it's going to be a compliment and then it turns into an insult.
You wonderfully self-indulgent egomaniac, something like that, I think.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
exactly.
go. And we have
Yeah.
one more story from you, and I'm putting the picture up, and you
I
love
just
this one.
adored that picture. That was so cute. I'm wondering in my head, I'm thinking, how did the koala get on the dog's back? Did its mama come and just sort of put it on its back and say, "You got him for a little bit, babysit, please"? Because I can see the dog just, the dog having fun, the koala having fun, and just babysitting.
Tell us the story. Why don't you read the bullets for us?
Yeah, so a dog and a koala formed an unlikely bond in Australia. I guess the owner of this dog heard a commotion outside, and he went outside to see this retriever, his golden retriever, giving a baby koala a piggyback ride.
Mm,
And so Denny, a golden retriever, gave a baby koala a piggyback ride in their backyard. And Denny's owner shared a photo on Steve Lemplow,
yeah,
Lemplow
close enough.
shared a photo on Facebook, which has gone viral. And yeah, who knew that you see like odd friendships develop like dogs and dolphins or tigers and bears or dogs and lions, but a dog and a koala is just adorable.
I think so too. This is one of my favorite stories. I sent it to you because I thought maybe you would enjoy it, and I'm glad you did. It's
Yes.
never too late to enjoy something like this and say, Why can't we all just get along, right?
Exactly. I mean, they were probably both having fun. I can't see the koala not having fun getting a piggyback ride on a
I
golden
know.
retriever.
I just wonder the scene that happens before this, if the dog sees the koala and basically gives a nod or a little wink and says, okay,
Yeah.
you climb on. I wonder if there's some kind of a secret
Well, that's
code.
that's what I was wondering is like, did the koala's mama put it on its back, or did it just sort of like maybe probably what happened is the golden retriever's laying on the ground because we all know they lay down
Yes,
there, and
yes.
then this koala just sort of wandered over and climbed on its back, and then dog gets up, and now they're friends.
Yeah, beautiful. I just wonder what the dog thought when he saw if he saw the koala and made eye contact with it. Just adorable. Thank you, Jennifer. I love the three stories you pick, and I've got three of my own now. And let's just go to these. We'll just keep going. I picked this in honor of you liking the koala story. I thought you'd get a kick out of this.
Yeah.
There's a Royal Cam reality show in New Zealand. These are the Royal Albatrosses. It's a seabird
Yes.
with a wingspan of over 10 feet.
Wow.
Interesting. And they say that this is awareness of the vulnerable species. It's a 24-hour live stream from the Department of Conservation in New Zealand. Interesting. Follows
Yeah.
the breeding season. Isn't that beautiful? Viewers
Yeah.
viewers get to see the mating dances, the reunions, they get to see the childbearing, the laying of the eggs, the birth of the chicks, etc., etc. This year's royal family is RLK, a 12-year-old male, and GLG, a 14-year-old female, and they have previously raised two chicks. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, you know what I think is so cute is that didn't it say they're soulmates? So they bond for life?
I think so. Let me see if
Yeah.
it's,
'Cause I know
let me,
there are some birds. I think penguins do that.
yeah, yes, they mate for life and they live to about 40. There you
That's
go.
cute.
Right there.
Yeah. I
They
mean, if
mate.
they can do it, then surely we can.
Leave me out of this one. Okay, here are some, and you probably run across this. Lorem ipsum dolor sit amet, and we see this all the
Yes.
time if you use
Yeah,
graphic
yeah, it's like
designs,
the
even
filler.
in Photoshop. If I put in a text box in Photoshop, it'll
Uh,
stick it full of lorem ipsum.
yeah, it
And
just repeats, right?
anybody who does typesetting or anybody who has tried to put text into a document, a creative document, you'll see that it fills up with lorem ipsum. It's called Greeking. It's all Greek to me. And here's the real passage: Lorem ipsum dolor sit amet consequiter ad spicem elite. And I'm not going to bother reading the rest.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the 1500s, printers used pieces of classical works to make type specimen books to demonstrate fonts. So they want to show you what does Times Roman look like, and what does Calibri, my favorite, look like, and what does
Yeah.
Baskerville look like. So lingua franca, Latin, was common across Europe. So Letraset, which was a company that created typefaces in the 1960s, chose a passage for the ad industry. And then in 1980s, the Aldus Corporation came along and they said, let's use lorem ipsum as part of our word processing software. And then Microsoft said, sure, let's use it in Microsoft Word. So there's a scholar named Richard McClintock who traced the passage for the text to the De Finibus Bonorum, a Malorum on the ends of good and evil. It was a treatise written by Roman statesman and philosopher Cicero in 45 BCE. I didn't know
Interesting.
any of this. Isn't this interesting? So it does
Yeah.
come from somewhere. And the newest iteration, and this is a little scary, is called copy pasta. That's when you put in placeholder text. That's for your next book, Jennifer. Blocks of text that appear to have been copied and pasted across social media and online forums. It's interesting. If I'm filling out an online form, or I use Jot forms, for some of my shows where a guest will put their information, their predictions, or their creativity statements in, and I'm filling out a sample for myself. I'll take three or four words from myself. Bonnie is blah, 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 and I'll just keep repeating it over and over and over again. So I'm creating my own copy pasta to fill the form to see how
Yeah.
many words I want. And that works out really well. So
I guess
copy,
it looks like words, so it's better than just,
yes,
jamming keys and creating some letter combinations.
it's nonsense, but it's a repeat of a certain amount of text. So it's called
Yeah.
copy pasta. And the last one is the world's oldest barista. This is fairly current. She turned 101, and this is for you as a coffee drinker, Jennifer, which I didn't
Nice.
know. In a small town in northern Italy, she's been serving coffee for more than 80 years. And
Wow.
happy birthday to Anna Possi. She turned 101 on Sunday. This must have been recent because I just found it. She and her husband opened the Bar Centrale in northern Italy in 1958. He passed away in 74. She's still working there 12 hours a day. You know what you say to people who are lazy? You say no excuses. If Anna Possi can do it, so can you. She
You
says, it
know,
doesn't feel like a bar to me. It's a meeting place. And John Yang did the interview, and he said from 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening, Anna does what she's been doing for 80 years, brewing espressos, serving coffee. And she said through a translator, I have customers who are now grandparents, and they come in with their grandchildren. Anna, do you remember when there was a dance floor outside? When there was a jukebox and pinball machines? Those were different times. Now they're only memories. It's a bit
yeah.
like a family. It doesn't feel like a bar. It feels like a meeting place. People come in, some come to run an errand, others come and ask me, do me a favor. Could you get your daughter who works in the town hall to bring me my identity card? So she says, sure, I'll come and get it tomorrow. Then there's the other one who says, please, if you see the doctor, get me a referral. I'll leave you the prescription. All right, I'm always available for everyone. Charming.
Oh,
So these are conversations she overhears in the store. Isn't that lovely?
that's cute.
And then we're
Yeah, I know,
back.
working in hospital, because I worked in a hospital for about 10 years, and the oldest person I ever met was 106. And I was asking, it's like, can you stand? Because I needed them to stand or be upright for this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exam. And they said, oh yeah, they whip the blankets off, they stand up, I said, give me a jig. And I was just like, wow, I hope when I get to that age, I can dance as well.
My mom passed at 100 years, 1 month and 15 days. She passed away in
Oh,
my arms. She had a cough, and I went to see her one night, and she took her last breath. It was a deadly virus, and
mm,
we didn't know it was more than a cough. But the point was, we hosted a TV show called Senior Moments, the Happy Ones, for about 18 years. We did 259 shows, at least one a month, all year long for all those years. And we celebrated her 100th birthday on the show, on the air, and the
oh,
family all flew in and we had a party. And
nice.
nobody could believe, Jennifer, that she was 100 years old. She didn't look it, she didn't act it, and
Right.
she
Well,
was a force of, and her friends lived into their late 90s and early hundreds as well.
I know we have four generations living in our household. So
What?
my husband's mother and his grandmother all live in our household. And his grandmother this summer turned 99.
Wow. Does she do a jig?
No, she hobbles.
Okay, but she still gets up and walks, right? She
Yeah,
hobbles.
she
Okay.
she does. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Not doing the stairs now, but
That's
yeah.
very, very interesting. Four generations. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, so
You
there's
have
our kids, there's me and my husband, there's his mother, there's his grandmother. Yeah, so
you have a big
big
heart,
family.
Jen.
I'm loving it. My kids are getting to see their grandmother and their great grandmother every day.
Wonderful. I have a question for you before we finish, and I'm really enjoying getting to know you better. Jennifer, if somebody watching or somebody who knows somebody who's watching says, I want to be a saucy dame like J.M. Shaw, Jennifer Shaw, what advice would you give them?
If you want to be, you can be. There's nothing stopping you. Just be you.
Isn't that what in Wizard of Oz didn't the witch say to Dorothy, "You had the power all along, my dear"?
Yeah, yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
What specifically would you say? Is there something, should they read more? Should they get out? Should they write poetry? Should they be artists? Should they be go for long walks with their favorite music? Give me something specific that they should do.
Well, I'd say don't try to copy anybody. Embrace what you like and be content with that. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Oscar Wilde said, "Be yourself. Everybody else is taken." Remember that one?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's
Yes.
like you.
Nobody is like you. I tell people if you see the little crack in the window, open the window. Of course, unless there's a blizzard outside, but even then, open the damn window and see what's on the other side. There might be an opportunity. There might be an idea. There might be an inspiration. There might be a person. Well, hopefully not a person, but, or if the door is open, push it wide open. Just force it open and see, because there might be, how many careers have you had, Jennifer? How many careers would you say?
Oh gosh. I mean, if you count my teenage part-time jobs, probably at least a dozen,
Okay.
growing up.
I'm running about 10 or 11 myself, and
Yeah.
since my adult years and young adult up to now. And I just say don't don't shut the door on opportunities. They might not all be for you, but sometimes there's an idea that can help you do something a little differently, a little better, or have a little more fun or add more meaning to your life. It doesn't have to be a complete change, but sometimes what's on the other side of that window or door is something that you would love and that would love you. So, Jennifer, I'm going to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let me see if I can find my closing music here. And here we go. Let's dance our way out. Let's make sure the volume is up here. Here it is. Okay, let's go. Okay. Can you hear that?
Yes,
So you
definitely
wanna
good.
be
So you want to be
a
a cool kid.
hanging with a
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much for having me.
You tell your family Aunt Bonnie says hello.
I will.
We're going to wave goodbye in just a second.
You wanna be
Wait for the drum roll.